Hey, welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. This is Money Body Goals. I'm Rianne DeCastro. I'm a financial planner and a wealth coach.
And I am Dalton DeCastro, a personal trainer and coach as well.
So last episode we left off on a bit of a cliffhanger where today we're going to dive into more about our career paths. And I don't know if anyone had any guesses for either of us if you don't know us from the last one, but I think some people will be pretty surprised.
There were some wild guesses, that's for sure.
And then we have some questions, some Q&A from ChatGPT that I wanted to just kind of do for fun. Yeah. So we'll get into it.
Let's dive into it.
Yeah. So you start this time.
I start?
Yeah, okay. I started in the last one.
Okay, sounds good. So pretty much when I graduated high school, I went straight into college and I actually started off with computer science. Absolutely hated it. Like it was not for me. I am not very techie. It's not my thing. There was just so much going on in that course that I just couldn't handle. Like programming just went right over my head. Mm-hmm. So that definitely wasn't for me. But after doing one semester of that, I got into electrical because that's originally what I wanted to do. So becoming an electrical technician. So I did that for a semester. Didn't do so great in school. And a lot of the courses that I took it wasn't resonating with me very well either. So I gave it one more final shot because my dad really wanted me to obviously stay in school and find something to finish with.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, let's try robotics. So I got into the robotics program and I stuck with it. I think it took me I was in it for about 3 or 4 years. And then when I finally graduated, I immediately got a job. So the job that I worked at the time was building the LRTs. So I was helping work on the interiors of the LRTs.
What is that for people who don't know?
The light rail train. So here in Ottawa, I'm sure if you're an Ottawa listener, you know exactly what those LRTs are and how amazing they are. Honestly, the day-to-day work was not that it was overwhelming and difficult. It was the environment that I worked in that I didn't really vibe with. I didn't like how the project was running. And essentially after doing that for almost a year, like it just left a bad taste in my mouth for that career path. So I talked to two of my really close friends and we sat down and just, kind of brainstormed like what would be a good career path for me to take if I was to leave this job. Like it was a stable job for me. I could have done pretty well in it and it would have just been one of those 9 to 5s that I just go to work and pretty much hate every day. That I go to work. And I just didn't want to have to live my life like that. So after brainstorming with my two friends, they pretty much said, hey man, you're really into fitness. You love working out. You're in the gym all the time. Why don't you pursue a gym path? Why not try fitness and becoming a personal trainer? And I thought that was a little bit crazy because it was just so far outside of my field. And I just didn't think that I'd be even able to get a job as a personal trainer. The only experience I had was me coaching kids for my basketball team and putting them through weight training. And also I was doing some training on the side with some people, helping them build programs and essentially just go through workouts. But I just didn't think I was qualified enough until I actually had a friend who just got a job as a personal trainer at the location I'm working currently. And I figured why not reach out to him and see if they have any other job openings. So I reached out. He told me, yeah, we're actually looking for some people. And I contacted him. I got in touch with the manager at the time at that location. And he was like, hey man, do you want to just do an interview now? Like, do you want to do an in-person call? And we'll just see where it goes. So then I almost immediately had a interview there. So that was really nice. I felt like a lot safer knowing that it wasn't as hard of a process to become a trainer there.
Yeah.
But obviously you need to have your certifications, you need to have more experience, etc. So I immediately had to get my certifications, take care of that before I could really fully dive into becoming a personal trainer there. And building the experience also was just going to take time, right?
How long did it take to get the certs?
Not long. I think I did a course over the weekend.
Or so?
No, it was like a weekend course.
Okay.
It was a weekend course, but then you have to do the practical exam. You have to do the theory exam first and then the practical exam.
That's for the CanFit Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got my certs for that. And then pretty much that's just where my career took off. I also started at a really weird time because it was the year before the pandemic. So just before everything shut down.
Yeah.
That was like my first ever year of being a PT. and then everything shut down. And that's where I had to essentially learn how to be an even better trainer during that time, because I had a handful of clients already at the time, right? So after years working there, I built a pretty good roster. But now with everything shut down, like how do you keep people accountable when the gyms are closed? How do you keep people motivated when the gyms are closed? So
Yeah.
I stayed in touch. I don't know if you remember this. Like I was in my room because I wasn't working for like 3-4 months. I was in my room and I would just have like weekly calls with them, and I would check in with every single person being like, hey, I just want to know your wins. What can we work on for next week?
Yeah.
I gave them all workout programs. Ryan and I actually made 2 workout videos that we sent to my clients so that they had something to follow.
Yeah. I think that helped a lot with your client retention.
Oh, it was
When
huge.
gym doors opened again, you had so many clients who were just ready to get started right away.
Oh, yeah.
Because you kept in touch with them.
Yeah.
Versus I think a lot of trainers had to basically start from like almost like scratch again.
Yeah.
Figure out how to get clients back into the gym when they've been off for so long.
Yeah. And I really learned what not to do in those kind of moments when those are the kind of people that need you.
Yeah.
You don't disappear on them. Even if the gym shut down, like this is the time that you actually support them even more, because they came to you with their money and said, hey, I need help. And just because the gyms are closed, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to help them. I wasn't even getting paid.
Yeah.
So like all of this was just me being like, I actually care about these people. And that's what helped me retain a lot of my clientele, because like you said, when the gym doors opened, they're like first in line. It's like, hey man, I heard the gyms are opening. Can I get my time slots solidified?
That's really good for people's mental health too. Like I know that was a struggle for some people, especially being so isolated during COVID.
Yeah.
But for someone who's just still thinking about them and checking in, I think that was like a really good thing that you did for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it, like I said, it leveled me up as a trainer, because I learned how to give the utmost care to people.
Yeah.
And make sure that I'm taking care of my people no matter what happens. And that's how I treat it always. It's like clients always will come first, and I'll make sure that they're well taken care of. But yeah, that's so the answer for me is I graduated with robotics.
Yeah. Not a master's in chemistry.
Not a master's in chemistry. I hate that course so much. And yet I know the entire periodic table in and out.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least there was one good takeaway.
Yeah.
For any trivia questions.
Really, really good at trivia questions
We
when it
love
comes to
our
chemistry.
trivia.
Yeah, when I do chemistry trivia, I don't know why I'm so good at it, but that's why.
Probably because you took it 4 times.
Yeah. That's me. Let's hear about you.
Yeah. So I graduated with a degree in biology. And when I was in high school, I would say I loved math and music the most. I mean, I was also good at science, but just thinking about potential career paths, I don't think there's a lot you can do with either of those unless you want to go into teaching, which I knew was not for me. So I was like, okay, let's go into general science and see where that leads me. And something that you know about me is whenever I'm watching like a TV show, I'm very easily influenced by certain jobs that I am like learning more about. I always am like, oh, I could do that.
Rye will see an episode involving like cops, and
Yeah.
then the next day she'll tell me, do you think I could be a good cop? Like, I'm really thinking about diving into becoming a police officer. I'm
Yeah.
like, Rye, no. Like, you just saw this one video or one show and now you want to be a cop.
Yeah, so I'm very easily
Influence.
impressionable that way.
Yeah.
And during university, I was watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy. So naturally, I thought I would make a really good surgeon. And so it got to the point where I kind of had to decide, like, hey, am I going to apply for pre-med and try to become a doctor?
Mm-hmm.
And do I realistically see myself doing more schooling for another 8 years? Or do I want to go into something where I can start making an income right away? So I picked biology, had some work experience working as a summer student in a manufacturing company in Brockville. So luckily I ended up getting a job with them right away as soon as I graduated. And it was really good pay, got a lot of great experience. I did really enjoy working there. I was in a lab where we were basically testing filters that they use in the military for the respirators. So, I mean, it was cool and interesting, and there was a lot of room for growth, which I liked. There was different areas of the lab where, you know, it would take years to learn everything. And I really liked all the managers I had. Like, everyone was very encouraging and wanted to see me advance in my position and just learn as much as I could. And I was basically like a sponge.
And you saved a lot of money.
I did. Yeah. So luckily, I was lucky to get that full-time job right away. And I was also working at my family's restaurant a lot of the evenings during the week and on weekends. So I saved almost everything I think I made from that full-time job.
Yeah, you were working when we first started dating. You were working so much. I was working so much. Like we were both hustling.
Yeah.
Like you were balancing obviously that job plus the restaurant.
I was working at least 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
And doing workouts every morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Then I'd head to work. Then I'd head to the restaurant. I didn't have weekends off either. And then I was training for a bodybuilding show at the same time.
I feel like this is the time frame where we really built our good habits and
Yeah.
solidified it into our lifestyle.
It was the discipline for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly like you said. You were going to the gym in the morning, went to work, bed. Like that was it. Plus
Meal prep. That's
Yeah.
essentially all I did for 2 years.
And that's pretty much proof to show that like it's very much doable if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Like you had a reason why you wanted to do it, you were doing it. You were
Yeah.
executing.
And the thing is, you don't want to overwork yourself. Like I saw that as that was a temporary thing for me. I wasn't going to be working that much for a long period of time, but
Yeah.
I was willing to do that, for the 2 years that I was doing that. And that helped me
Yeah.
get really ahead of a lot of other people.
Yeah, like we were super young. Like we had lots of time to sacrifice and be able to do those things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we weren't enjoying life either.
Yeah.
Like we managed to find each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So, I mean, speaking of that, obviously you are the reason that I moved to Ottawa, started exploring job opportunities here. And when I did find a job here, it just wasn't the same. So I kind of felt the same. I felt really stuck and I could not picture myself doing that for my entire career. It wasn't very good money. And it was a very small lab where I basically mastered everything after 6 months. And I was like, okay, what else can I do? Like I tried to always meet with my manager and be like, okay, give me like more work to do.
Yeah.
Can I go and try to learn some things in this other lab? And she was kind of like, can you just please like do your job?
You were essentially bored. Like
I was super bored. And there was even long periods of time where during the day we would have absolutely no work to do. And I just felt like it was 4 days on, 4 days off. And it felt like this endless just cycle of being miserable. So same thing, I kind of thought about, my other interests and how I could turn something into a career without having to go back and get another degree.
Yeah. But I did that career switch first.
Yeah.
Which was really nice because I felt like when I did that, it's not that necessarily I had to rely on you, but like I knew we were safe, that I had the room for me and freedom for me to pursue this new career path. And once I started to solidify my career as a trainer and build a good roster and have a very stable income, and I can now become a safety net where I'm working a lot of hours, this is a safe time for you to now explore a new career path.
I mean,
for
we
you
were
too.
both still I was living with his family at that time because when I moved in with you, you were
Yeah.
still at your parents.
Yeah.
And they were always used to having international students stay with them. So for them, it was like an easy choice to just let me rent a room from them.
Yeah.
But it was also having that, we were really lucky,
Yeah.
right? To not have to worry about living on our own at that time.
Yeah.
And I was really envious of you being able to like be home during COVID,
Oh yeah.
where I was still forced to go into work and work 12-hour shifts. And I was just so miserable.
Yeah.
I was like, what can I do to just get out of this situation? So I started exploring becoming a financial advisor because I was pretty successful with my own investments up to that point because I started saving so early on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got licensed, everything was done online. And then quitting that job that I was in was the best thing I could have ever done for myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm so much more happier now. I'm in control of
Your schedule, your
my
freedom.
schedule. Yeah,
everything.
I just have so much more time freedom and every day is different.
Yeah. But you also have to teach yourself how to be successful in your job because it's not like you can just be good at what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You still have to put in the hours, but it's like you schedule your entire week based off of how you want to schedule it.
Yeah.
And you become as successful as you are because of how much you work.
Yeah, I think up to that point when I made that leap of faith, I always thought, I just wanted like a safe, secure job with stable income.
Hmm.
But then when you get to the point where you're not happy with what you're doing, you don't like the management, you're not getting paid a lot of money, it was a realization for me that I needed to work for myself.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship is not for everyone, but it's great if you're able to just have that discipline and be very growth minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of work that we put into our jobs translates into our success, right? So as a personal trainer, financial advisor, like I'm only making money because I'm working. But when I'm not working, I'm not making money.
Mm-hmm.
Like your other job, you said sometimes you weren't working, but you were still making money. So you could be sitting around doing nothing and be getting paid your 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
Versus like here, it's like you actually have to do stuff. You have to go out and find your own business. You have to become successful because you're putting in the effort and the work. You
Yeah.
can't just sit around and expect to make money.
Yeah. And you really have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just the whole bodybuilding journey really helped me become very self confident, I think.
Yeah.
And that's something that you need if you want to be advertising yourself as a service to people.
Yeah.
And growing that following on social media too.
Yeah. The gym has taught us a lot of different things that we didn't think we would need in life, but it actually ended up being very useful.
Yeah.
Thank God for the gym.
A lot of things are just intertwined.
Yeah.
And yeah.
There's so many parallels to what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So for her with her finance and me for, fitness and everything related to fitness, I would say the parallels are very unique.
Yeah.
They work well together.
And I think in both of our careers, we're always thinking about how we can improve and build our businesses and just make more money.
Yeah, I like that about us.
Yeah.
We're always thinking about another idea that can allow us to grow in our business,
Mm-hmm.
right? So depending on who we're talking to, like sometimes it's nice when you sit down with people and just think of brainstorming ideas of like, how can I grow?
Yeah. Like
Right.
a lot of our friends have a side hustle outside of their 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very hard with the cost of living and everything, to only make money from your 9 to 5 and expect to have wealth.
Yeah.
That's good for some people, but you're not going to have millions of dollars probably until you're, in your 60s, maybe.
Are you talking about like for people who do just the 95?
Exactly. Yeah, like they say that if you look at the wealthiest people in the world, 74% of them are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
0% are employees. So that's just a good perspective to think about. It's like even within your career, there's things that you could be doing to try to.
Yes, like you always want to grow.
Yeah.
I just can't see myself being in the exact same position every single year and be happy with it.
Yeah.
Like I want to be doing something different and figuring out ways to have new income and just learn.
And like for you, you went from level 2 to level 4
Mm-hmm.
as a personal trainer pretty quickly. You were willing to put in the work to be able to make more money.
Yeah.
And same for me. In 2023, I spent the whole year studying to get my certified financial planning designation, because that's another kind of source of income that I didn't have before, where my clients can pay me upfront for my time versus only getting paid from assets under management or selling insurance. So it's just good to kind of think about different ways that you could make more money. We can all try and budget and be super disciplined with where our spending is. But at the end of the day, if that's not enough to live your dream lifestyle, then you need to find ways to make more.
Yeah, I agree. So did you want to get into the questions that you're talking about earlier?
Yeah, sure.
Now that we've exposed ourselves for our old careers,
Yeah.
our old selves. But I'm very happy that we both made a switch because I think it was the right move. Like I would be miserable if I was still in my old field.
Yeah.
I'm way happier. I feel like also for myself, I have so much more satisfaction with the things I do, right? I love seeing people succeed in whatever aspect they are doing, right? Of course, for me, it's fitness, right? So when I see them hit a PR or they're excited because they see a new vein or like a muscle is like now showing because they've lost some more weight, or wow, I'm more confident in the gym. Like just all of these wins for people to me are so satisfying.
Yeah.
As opposed to when I went to the other job, it's like, I worked on the train today. Yay. Like there was nothing sad.
It's a lot more rewarding.
Yeah.
Definitely to see client wins. And I've always thought that I was pretty introverted, but I actually feel energized after meeting with a client or going for coffee with someone.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not as introverted as I thought. because I just love that feeling of like maybe getting a new perspective from someone, or, you know, helping a client with their finances.
Yeah, like I think both of us, our confidence levels have increased like significantly. Like I know for a fact that because of this job and the career path I've now chosen, I am so much more confident in everything I do. Like I know I can walk into a room and have no problems meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problems. That's why I like taking courses too, because you meet so many other personal trainers, and I'm not going to be the trainer who just sits in the corner and doesn't say a word to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm like introducing myself. I'm trying to talk to as many people as possible, learn each other's like lives essentially, and why we do what we do.
Yeah. You never know where an opportunity is going to come from too, you know, or what you could learn from someone else.
Yeah, like even at the gym, like anyone is a potential client.
Mm-hmm.
So just being friendly enough to say hello to people when you're at work and like having those little tiny conversations with people can go a long way.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say are our biggest money motivators? Freedom, security, or experiences?
A big money motivator for myself is giving our dog his best life. I'm being dead serious. Like I do want Leo to have a big backyard. I want him to be able to live in a house where he has so much more space and freedom to run around like the way that he is at Brockville. I'd like to save enough money and make enough money so that he'll be able to live that experience.
Yeah.
Of course, that's on the side. Other motivators are us. Like I want us to thrive. I want us to be financially free for the rest of our lives. I never want to be in debt.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in debt, and you've never been in debt. And I don't ever want us to be in those positions where we're struggling and always thinking like, oh my God, do I have enough money to make this next payment? Or do I have enough money to do this bill, right? I never want to feel that way.
Yeah, I think we've really prioritized that. For me, it's all about having freedom and options.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily care about, you know, it's not the fact of like, I just want to have a lot of money. It's just having those options that when you do have that, you can decide how you want to spend your time and design your life. And so what has been our biggest treat yourself moment, and was it worth it?
So I have two answers to this. You know that. I think, me personally, I think that my favorite treat ourselves moment was after our wedding, like literally 1 month later. We decided we didn't want to do a honeymoon when we got married because we felt like our wedding experience was already a honeymoon because we went to Mexico for a week with our friends. But a month later, we were just itching to get out of Canada. Like there was so much snow, it was cold, and we were just thinking, hey, like last minute, let's just go back. Let's go back to Mexico.
We both didn't really have a chance to relax either during that week for the wedding because we're just so busy spending time with everyone and getting things organized. And
we didn't have any alone time. And I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying that like there wasn't a chance for the two of us to just disappear and essentially do nothing.
We kind of came home from that and didn't feel relaxed whatsoever.
Yeah, I felt tired.
Yeah, it was very exhausting, to be honest. 100% worth it, but...
And that's exactly why we decided, hey, let's just go back.
Yeah.
And we actually went to the exact same resort.
Yeah.
And the people that were working there were like, weren't you just here? I'm like, hey, we're back. It's just, they're like, where's your friends? Like, it's just the two of us.
That was really nice, though.
That was an amazing,
What I would say is treating ourselves would be upgrading to business class flights.
Yeah.
When we went to the Philippines, we got a really good deal on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think... Originally, I always thought business costs like tens of thousands of dollars.
Which it can.
It definitely can. But I think we paid $4,500 each, which is up there. But
it ain't cheap, that's for
it's
sure.
such a long journey. Also, that was just for one way. We had to take economy coming back.
But we were down to take business back, remember? We were like...
Well, anyways, we definitely could justify it. For such a long journey, it took, 30 hours to get there altogether?
Yeah.
3 different flights?
Yeah.
So that was 100% worth it. The trip itself is also expensive. Cost us $14,000 to go to the Philippines, but we were there for almost a month.
Yeah.
And we were there for your sister's wedding, for Christmas, for New Year's, so we definitely made the most of it. I got to meet your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and we have so many good memories, with the family that went, that I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was definitely a good treat yourself moment.
And we were in a place where we could afford that. We didn't go into debt to pay for that. We kind of just, tried to budget for it. And
we just made sure we were aware of how much roughly it's going to cost us.
Yeah,
and
you're
obviously
like his dad's really good at budgeting and putting everything into a spreadsheet. So that was super helpful. What's something we're obsessed with right now?
Drake's new album. Nokia.
Yeah. How
That's
does
my
that song
track.
go?
I'm not gonna sing it out loud.
Okay. Well, listen to it. It's catchy.
I love that song.
It's like constantly stuck in my head now because you're always playing it or singing it.
Who's calling that phone? Who's calling that phone?
It is catchy. It's a good album to just kind of have on in the background or in the car.
Is it Stacy?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Good song.
My answer is my cat.
Oh my god.
I'm always obsessed with her. She's the best thing that ever happened to us.
That's funny that you say that the way that you said that. Because usually she says, she's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
No, to us. Always see videos of people who had one cat and then they get a second, and it's like how they're best friends and how they play together. But it's so funny because that's exactly how she acts with Leo too. She's just so playful. She loves him. You can tell. You know, they cuddle together every morning. She's always running up to him, and I just think it's so adorable.
They are cute together, I won't lie.
She's just like a little, it's nice to have another presence when originally we'd be leaving him alone for a few hours during the day, and I felt really guilty about that. But now he has a little friend to keep him company.
Yeah.
So.
Still love Leo more.
Okay, and last question. What are our non-negotiables when it comes to living a great life?
Or every decision that you and I make, or at least what I make, is something that is prioritized to myself and prioritized to you. Like, I will never make a decision to make someone else happy.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Yeah.
I will always make sure that my happiness, your happiness are prioritized. And if both of us are not on board with it, then I'm not going to do it. Right? I know a lot of people will either be walked all over or make decisions essentially just because they wanted to make someone else happy. But like, I will never stand by that.
Or they're afraid of confrontation too.
Yeah,
I think with family members is a big thing and like a place of guilt for people to have a hard time saying no.
Yeah, I have a very easy time saying no.
Yeah, usually it's me convincing you to do something with your family.
But I always prioritize my mental health, my physical health, all of those things. Yeah. And I'll never sacrifice that. So that's kind of a non-negotiable for me to live my greatest life. And in the end, it translates to the two of us living our best life. I
think I'm pretty aligned with that.
Yeah. If I can't take care of myself first, how am I supposed to take care of somebody else? I always have to prioritize myself, making sure that I'm going to be capable of taking care of somebody else and making sure that I can benefit them as well, right? But if I'm not even taking care of myself, then I'm screwed. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer.
Thanks, babe.
So we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
In the next video, we're going to break down the costs for if you're looking to compete in bodybuilding, what estimated cost of going into men's versus women's, and then, you know, what you can expect to be paying versus kind of like your average budget compared to leading up to a competition. Yeah. And what that looks like.
Cool. Looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. So if you guys have not done so yet, don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys like this content. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching our videos, and we love making this stuff for you guys. So if you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comments, and we'd love to have different topics coming from you guys. And we have a lot of big stuff coming up. Everyone's going to get 5 podcasts in March. There's 5 Sundays. Wow. Yeah. Okay. A lot of stuff coming up. March is going to be crazy. Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.